Mark Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats blow out the Purdue Boilermakers in the exhibition in Rupp Arena. What a game it was. That's going to be the conversation on this bonus post-game episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. It's just me, Andrew Stefaniak. Carson is out celebrating, and I had to get home, got to get articles up, got a big day tomorrow, heading to Keeneland. So thought, you know what? I know we don't have Carson, but we're going to break down this game a little bit. Obviously, Carson will be back on Monday, and we'll talk about the game with him and hear his thoughts. I promise you, folks, I was watching him from the press box down in his seats. Carson was having a very, very good time, so he'll be back tomorrow. But first things first, what a crowd in Rupp Arena tonight. Nobody does anything like Big Blue Nation. Elite crowd. I was talking to Mr. Williams, Cam Williams' dad, before the game, and I told him, I said, Mr. Williams, this is a 6 o'clock tip. I've got a weird feeling that the crowd's going to fill in, but maybe it's going to take the first 10 minutes. That crowd from tip-off till the final buzzer was elite. What a job, and I think that was part of it. Big Blue Nation really helped this team win the ball game tonight with how loud they were. But the first takeaway for me, number one, Jasper Johnson. We all sat and talked about Jasper as if he is a 2-year player, 3-year player. No, sir. He is a one-and-done guy. Kid was unbelievable. Let's read the stat line for Johnson. In his first ever college game, 6 of 10 from the field, 15 points, 3 of 7 from 3. He adds a rebound, 3 assists, just an all-around incredible first ever college game from Jasper Johnson. Also added a steal to that stat line. I was so impressed with the way he played. And, all offseason we've heard the Jasper Johnson is the new Rob Dillingham, right? We've heard it. We've heard those comparisons. But I'll tell you this, that kid, I think, deserves the Rob Dillingham comparisons. He looked shifty. That play, that layup at the rim, my goodness, that was incredible. And then the other freshman, who was my pick for MVP on his birthday. Happy birthday, young man, Malachi Moreno. My goodness. Malachi Moreno goes for 8 points in this game, 4 of 5 from 3, adds 4 rebounds, an assist, a block, and a steal to the stat sheet for the Wildcats. I was really impressed with him. We've all heard the conversations about Malachi Moreno. Well, he's coming from a smaller school. He's coming from Great Crossing. A lot of these 5-stars play at these prep schools. What's it going to look like for this kid? Well, what did it look like? He looked incredible. He competed with TKR. He competed with Clough. I was so impressed with the way Malachi Moreno looked in this game. He was the star for me in this front court. I mean, Mo D was great. Brandon Garrison did some good things, but my goodness, I just wasn't expecting that from Moreno. I thought he was going to be good. I thought we were going to leave this game saying, hey, that Moreno kid's pretty good, but I left this game going, this kid is an absolute monster. I was so happy to see that because, ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for Jaden Quaintance to get back on the floor, right? And while we're waiting for him to get back on the floor, we need Garrison Moreno to step up. And I now have an elite level of confidence that our starting centers, or our 2 centers in Garrison and Moreno, are going to be just fine until JQ is back on the floor. The other thing, Purdue fans, I mean, listen, I'm not here to rub anything in anybody's face, but if I was guessing, they're not going to make it back for the post game. You know what I mean? They were in the comments for the preview. They're not going to be here for the post game. But Purdue fans, we're talking in our comments about how our depth wasn't as good as their depth. And it brought me so much joy to see that being so far from the truth. We outscored their bench, I believe it was 34-18. And let me try and get the full stats there. The bench points, where is it here? I'll find it here in a sec. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we had 34 and they had 18. So yes, we out bench pointed them 34-18. And a lot of those bench points from them came from That 7'4" kid had a couple late dunks when we were kind of already, calling it a day. So it honestly was a wider gap than that. And our depth is the best in college basketball. Purdue, sorry, ours is better. And what's funny is it didn't even look close. The depth wasn't even close. They were trying to tell us that they had more depth. No, they don't. Not only do they not have more depth than we do, it's not even in the same planet. It's not on the same stratosphere. Our depth is the best in college basketball by a very, very wide margin. The Noah's Ark comparison, it's true. Mark Pope has 2 of everything. We are the deepest team in college basketball. We already thought that. Now I think we know that. That's the reality. So that was another thing that stood out to me. We had 34 bench points in a game where we scored 78. You take that all day long. I thought Denzel Aberdeen didn't have his best shooting night, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 9 points, but he looked the part as a point guard. And I talked a lot about that heading into this game. I want to see Denzel Aberdeen look like he can hang as a point guard. And I think that he did that. I was impressed with his 3 assists. He only turned the ball over 1 time. I was very impressed with the way that he took care of the basketball. A guy that has played point guard, obviously, but still a 2-to-1 kind of guy. So very happy that he looked dominant at the point guard position, and he didn't make his shots. When he makes his shots, the stats are going to be better. We were just efficient. Listen to this. Brandon Garrison, 3 of 4. Diabate, 4 of 7. Jasper Johnson, 6 of 10. Malachi Moreno, 4 of 5. We were incredibly efficient from the field, and efficiency wins basketball games. The plus-minus winner, I don't know if you haven't seen this, drum roll, but the plus-minus winner in this basketball game was Colin Chandler with the plus 15. He barely beat out Aberdeen, who was plus 14. The plus-minus loser in this game was Andrei Jelovich, who I've seen a lot of negatives on Jelovich. A lot of folks talking, saying he didn't look the best. To me, I think that there were some concerns with Jelovich, but there were also some flashes where I said, this kid's going to be good. It might take him a few months. It might take him a few weeks. We might be talking start SEC play, whatever it is. He's going to be a good player. You can see the signs there. He's got to adjust more to the offense, adjust more to playing with this basketball team. But I was very, very happy to see that you could see those flashes. That was the takeaway I had from him. But yes, I agree. There was a lot, left for him. There's a lot left in the tank, but it's going to come. I believe that. You hold the number 1 offense in KenPom to 65 points, 22 of 57 from the field, 38.6%, 3 of 17 from 3. The way that Lawyer got started in this game when the kid just could not miss, I went, oh boy, this is going to be a little, and then he just goes cold. They were 18 from 22 at the free throw line. A lot of their points came at the charity stripe, but you hold the number 1 offense in college basketball, according to KenPom. I know it's preseason, but still, and you hold them to just 65 points. And, the last thing there, I could sit here and talk to y'all for 2 hours about this basketball game. I could, but I want to save a lot of this conversation for Carson when we're sit down to talk on Monday. But a lot of folks, we're Kentucky. They're going to switch the narrative up on us. They're going to say, well, maybe Purdue sucks. They're going to change the narrative. The reality is this. Kentucky played without 2 starters, 2 of their 3 best players, in my opinion, in Jaden Quaintance and Jalen Lowe. Otega Owe played under 20 minutes. Let's get the exact minute count for Owe. Owe played 17 minutes in this game and didn't have his best game. 4, 9, 10 points. Didn't have his best game. Wasn't bad, but didn't have his best game in only those 17 minutes. So you add those 2 things together. And then Purdue wasn't playing like this was an exhibition. They've had Smith, all these guys out there for 30-plus minutes. They were playing to win this basketball game, right? So no one can say, well, Purdue was playing like it's an exhibition game. They were mixing and matching lineups. Purdue played to win that game. Purdue played to win that basketball game. And the reality is Kentucky dominated Purdue from start to finish. They're the better basketball team. They're the better basketball team with who they had out there. And you forget that 2 players that are elite all SEC type of guys were not out on the floor. Kentucky was the better team without those guys. And they would be a way better team with those guys. This is no disrespect to Purdue. Purdue's going to be a good team. Purdue's going to be a 1, 2, or 3 seed. This is not knocking Purdue. I'm not going to sit here, well, Purdue's going to fall. Purdue is a really good basketball team. Kentucky's a better basketball team. And so folks are going to tell you to not overreact. I think I said that this week, but I didn't expect that. I didn't expect us to go out there and look like the better basketball team by a wide margin against the preseason number 1 team where we were short-handed. I am so proud of this basketball team. I am so proud of Coach Pope. I am so proud of Big Blue Nation. That is the most fun I've had at the basketball game, I'd say probably in my entire life. So Purdue fans, eat a little bit of humble pie. They talked a lot of crap. The whole Super Bowl thing, no. You came here and you got your arse kicked by a better basketball team. Good luck to you all the rest of the year. No disrespect. Stay healthy. Wishing good things for you all. You're in the Big Ten. I'm not worried about it. We're not going to play y'all unless it's in the tournament. So good luck. But Purdue got their butt kicked in Rupp Arena. Kentucky is the best team in college basketball. I'll say it. I thought that number 9 ranking was a little low. I think that this is the best team in college basketball. And there's people that are going to argue against that. I know it's an exhibition game, but look at all the variables I laid out. Missing 2 of your 3 best players. Had a lot of freshmen playing significant minutes in this game. You have Owe out there who's been banged up and he's coming back in, only played 17 minutes. Your preseason All-American, All-SEC Player of the Year type of guy, right? And you beat the crap out of the preseason number 1 team. I know it's an exhibition, but you're allowed to overreact when you do that to that team shorthanded. And you can't say, well, Purdue didn't play hard. Yeah, they did. Purdue wanted to win that basketball game. That's why they had their starters in at the point they did. They didn't pull them with 10 minutes left. They wanted to win that basketball game, and they didn't because Kentucky's the better team. I think Kentucky's the best basketball team in college basketball. You can say that's a homer take. That's fine. I don't care. I'm going to enjoy the win. I'm going to take it all in. But there's a lot of good teams in college basketball, and Kentucky's one of them. I will say Kentucky, if you want to say, Andrew, you're being a homer, Kentucky's a top 5 team in college basketball. I'm willing to back up to that. But, yes, I think we spent the most money. We should be the best team in college basketball. And, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are. Really appreciate y'all stopping in late at night. It's 10:20, so this will be up around probably a little bit before 11. So if you're watching tomorrow morning, hope everyone enjoy the football game later this evening. Hope everyone's going to Keeneland. I'll be there. Carson will be there as well. So come say hi. Come talk a little ball. We love it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Would really appreciate that. This will be our 4th show this week. We're trying to grow this and your all's help. Tell a friend if you enjoy us, if you enjoy listening to Carson and I, tell a friend. It would really help us out. So we love and appreciate you all. Really excited to get going on another basketball season. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy the football game tomorrow, and we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today Podcast.